without further ado, welcome to Money Smart Class Record Keeping, and our speaker or instructor for the day, who has been teaching the class for many years. Exactly. So he is definitely an expert of the subject matter. His information is on the back table, where you can find out about his business and services that he offers, physical fitness, and you can take a picture of it if we run out and ask someone, hey, can I take a picture of it? Or if you need his information, just come up to him and let him know. Mr. Alford is a Pennsylvania native and Virginia resident for over 35 years. He's the founder and CEO of Fiscal Fitness Tax and Financial Services Incorporated, where the goal is to help clients become financially stronger by maximizing their money through innovative tax and wealth accumulation strategies. Derrick is also the managing partner of Alford Development, LLC, a real estate development firm. Derrick holds an S.B.A. and Master of Business Administration in Entrepreneurial Management from Corliss University, and successfully completed the MBE Executive Management Program at the University of Richmond. Derrick is an alumni of Howard University with a bachelor's degree in finance. The former U.S. government compliance officer has been providing a full range of tax and financial products and services to individuals and businesses for over 30 years. In addition to his multiple years of financial business experience, Derrick is also a member of the Better Business Bureau and of the Metropolitan Business League. Since 2004, Derrick provides his services to the Junior Achievement of Central Virginia Corporation as a volunteer business principal instructor. Derrick has facilitated numerous financial and business seminars for several churches, government agencies, nonprofit organizations. He serves as a member on the advisory board of Bryan and Stratton College at Virginia Union University, Small Business Development Center. Derrick also is an election officer for Chesterfield County Board of Elections. Derrick has coached Upward basketball and I-9 flag football league teams. Derrick has been a guest financial expert on several radio and TV shows. In 2021, Derrick authored and released an insightful and practical book titled The Intangibles of Business Success, which is available, right? Available for purchasing. And Derrick has been happily married to the former Angela Carter for over 30 years and is a father of daughter Ariel and son Alexander. The business motto is, we don't succeed unless you succeed. So we got a heavy hitter in the room today, right? So you know when you have those accounting questions and I'm like, I'm not an accountant nor do I claim to be one? Well, here we go. This is where you ask the questions. So I'm going to turn the meeting over. There are a few seats up here. And if no one has any questions, I will turn it over.
Give Ms. Johnson a hand for that great introduction. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Oh, y'all could do better than that. A little stronger. I know it's hot outside. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. All right, happy to be with you guys in Derrick L. Alford Fiscal Fitness Tax and Financial Services, as in finances. Y'all have some interesting comments as far as what you would take on an island, if you were stranded on an island. That was very creative, a public store. So I like that. You're very forward thinking. Take all of your resources with you. You saw my background. We're not going to get into that. We had handouts. This gentleman over here happens to be Alexander Alford. So, namesake. So he's going to do stuff that I'm not good at. Just tech stuff and putting you out there and taking pictures. He's going to be more focused up here. So don't be scared of the camera. Most of it is going to be projected up here. So, first I'd like to thank Ms. Johnson and the fine folks of the Richmond Office of Minority Business Development for the invitation. At this stage, I'm happy when anybody invites me to do anything that's positive and productive in any community, because we are a part of the community. So I have been doing it for quite a few times, so it's good to be with you live. So what are we supposed to be talking about tonight? Record keeping, right? Okay, so very important topic. So we're going to touch on, I'm going to summarize. You guys have participant packages. Is that right? Everybody got one? Participant package. Okay, so I'm going to summarize. We're going to talk, discuss, we're going to explain, we're going to touch on various record-keeping practices, principles, tools. We're going to talk about why it is important. For those of you who were in the first class, I came to the first class. So I told you I was coming back. So here I am. So Ms. Johnson talked about in her presentation the why. Why you go in business, why you're in business, why you do what you do, that kind of thing. So we're going to give you a couple of whys regarding record keeping. So she talked, give you a general objective. So I just summarized this slide here. Now, when you do presentation and talk to a voice, it's good to get some kind of gauge on where people are, what they know. So in your packets, there's a pre-test. So I would like you to unfold your arms and take out the pre-test. There's 6 questions on there. I'm going to give you a little less than a minute a question. So if you would do the pre-test, and then we're going to go over the pre-test, and we're going to jump in. Everybody got something to write with, right? Oh, you got to come prepared. Come on, man. That's the first rule of business. Come ready. Ms. Johnson got it. You're going to take care of it. You got it. Everybody's good. Okay. Looks like you guys are pretty much ready. Everybody finished? Anybody have a little more time? Okay, let's jump on in. Okay, which are the following are reasons for keeping good records? How many say A? How many say 2 for A? How many for B? Okay. C. D. What about all of them? I agree. I concur. All of them. Those are good reasons to keep good records. Okay, when creating a record-keeping system, it's a good idea to what? You can shout it out. Start simple. Everybody agree with that? I agree. Start simple. You got to start somewhere. It doesn't have to be complex. Which of the following should be done before purchasing business software? Heard evaluate your needs. Anything else? Evaluate your needs, right. Before you jump in, you should look and see what you need, what your goals and objectives are. Which are the following are record-keeping tools? All of them.
All of them.
I concur. All. Okay, y'all great class. Okay, for which type of small business is record-keeping a good practice? All. Right. Any type of organization, no matter how big or small, whether you're for-profit or not-for-profit, you should keep good records. Okay, record keeping is an orderly and, say it again, say it a little louder. Discipline. I concur. All right, I would change a word in this. It says that record keeping is an orderly and disciplined practice of storing business. It says records. My dear departed high school English teacher would cringe if you used a word to define the word. We're going to put information on the back end instead of record. So storing business information. Okay. So we've addressed that. Record keeping is for any type of business structure that you may have. How many small sole proprietors do we have in the house today? Raise them up high. Okay. Partnerships. Now, corporations of any type. S Corp, C Corp, E Corp. Nobody. LLC. So that means most of y'all are solo LLC. You by yourself. Is that right? And nobody raised their hand for partnership. Okay. All right. Well, whatever you are, whatever type of business organization that you have, you need to have good records. Okay. What is record keeping? Okay. The term it is an orderly and disciplined process and practice of storing business information. Okay, record keeping is one of your most important responsibilities as a business owner or manager. So, keeping up with what's going on in its various phases and factors is one of the most important tasks that you will have. And in addition to the business that you're in, whatever it may be, restaurant, food service, working out, physical, phys ed, physical therapy, whatever it is, trucking, whatever it is, you should keep good records. So you should have a process. So you have to have a process in order to be good at keeping your records. And success in your business depends on you creating and maintaining an effective record-keeping system. So what that means is it does you no good to have the system if you don't use the system. So you have to utilize whatever is set up, whether it's something you did, whether it's something you set up or maintain, or you delegate it to someone. You still have to utilize and maintain the system. Okay, is that clear? All right, so okay, so I just summarized the first point. Okay, now as far as the record-keeping system, it does not, as we discussed in the pretext, it does not have to be complex. So whatever level of business that you're at, you need to start, you have to start somewhere. So you don't have to go to the highest level of record-keeping. You may not have a file cabinet. You may have a mobile or file crate. I have clients, not too many now, but in the early days, we would have people bring us records in shoe boxes, that kind of thing. So it does not have to be complex, it does not have to be fancy, but you need some system. You need it to be accessible. So the retrieval piece that you see there, you need to have it so that you can readily have access to whatever your system is. So it's something you have to be comfortable with. So if someone sets up a system for you, you need to be comfortable with the system because there's some very exotic things out there now that, but you have to be comfortable with it. And it has to be again maintained. You have to update it on an ongoing basis. So he talks about good records, both business and personal. We'll touch on the personal a little bit more later. For the most part, we want to focus on business records, record keeping, business records, and record keeping. Okay, why is it important? You got to track the details of your business. You're tracking the details for more than one reason. Sometimes you're tracking it internally for you or your staff or the management of the company, or you may be tracking it for external entities or organizations. So who what may be an external organization that may be interested in your record keeping? IRS. I heard IRS? Yes. Yeah, they'd be very interested in it. So, so you may be tracking this for them. And it's a part of the revenue code that you do have a record keeping system if you're in business. And it's supposed to be written, it's supposed to be readily identifiable, and it's supposed to be contemporary. You know what contemporary means? Current. It's supposed to be current. So if they ask you for something for this year, you should be able to produce it in a reasonable amount of time. Right, so you are so this is okay. So the various segments, as far as the record keeping is concerned, again, could be internal, external. Okay, the internal would be from your business operations. So what some of your business operations, you guys are in various businesses, in various industries. So as far as your business operations are concerned, somebody give me some example of something as far as your record keeping, what you need to keep up with, something that you need to record and be on top of. Yes, ma'am. Okay. You all heard that?
No.
Oh, I think you did. She has a daycare. Okay. Kids or adults? Kids daycare. So she has to keep up with supplies, she has to keep up with food, she has to keep up with the kids. How many kids in there, right? And when y'all go on trips? Okay, so you make a count when you leave, when you count when you're about to come back and all of that. Okay. So she has to keep track of all of that. So that's in her industry, those are important items. We have some clients that have our daycare providers. So that sounds reasonable to me. Anything else? Yes, sir.
I'm in the rideshare business, so I got people with my mileage, gas, any type of maintenance that I got to put on my car, type of things.
Rideshare? Like the Uber and the Lyft type thing? Okay, so you all heard that, right? So he has to keep up with fuel, mileage. Why would his mileage be important? Anytime. Yes, sir. Right. This is deduction. So, and if it was questioned, him sitting there just telling us that he's keeping up with it verbally, is that good enough? No, not good. So, it depends on your industry, so you have to determine what's important for your particular industry and for your particular company, your particular organization. Okay. That, we're good? We're together on that?
I have a question. So I see that I looked at this list and it has here audit reports. So my question is when would you determine that you need an auditor to take a look at your business record keeping or to do an audit?
No, the question was, when would you determine if you need an audit, like an accounting audit? I mean, there are different audits. We're going to stick with an accounting. We're going to stick with an accounting audit. You can request an audit yourself. For some reason, whatever reason, your organization may think you need an audit of your records. Okay. Also, there are external folks that may want to audit your records. So it depends. You may be seeing something in your business that things are going a certain direction and you're not sure about it, so you may need another set of eyes to look at your records. So it depends on that sense of awareness. So you want to know more, or you may be preparing yourself for growth. So you need to know, okay, are we ready to grow? Are we ready to take on, maybe a business loan or something like that? So it just depends on the situation. But it can be, an audit can be executed internally or externally. You can hire auditors. That's what you hire business consultants. That's what they do. You know, they audit your sales. They audit. You can be audited various ways. Audits. I'm sorry. Y'all know what audit is, right? Everybody? Audit. It's like an examination. It's an in-depth examination. In accounting terms, it's an in-depth examination of your financial records. And it can be done, it can be drilled down pretty in-depth, you know, so, at various levels. Good questions. All right. So, so we talked about the operations. You needed as far as records for planning. That partly what you could deduce from her question about the audit. So that also it has legal. You should keep up with anything that's related to legalities, contracts, leases. Anybody have a building or anything that they're leasing? Office space, something like that. So you should have, well, you may have a lease. Okay, so you should have that. Anything else? If you're leasing office space or commercial space, business space, what else should you have? You might have. Sean, the folks that sponsor this event, they work for an organization, the city of Richmond. How many of y'all located in Richmond? Most, just about everybody. Okay, they want you to have something in Richmond. We got it on the wall in the office. What else? What's that? Permit and license. Okay, so we have a business, you have to have a thing called a CO, certificate of occupancy. You have an office and the business license. So you want to keep up with that. Have records of all of that and all the transactions. If you could, believe it or not, I have seen it. If you do get commercial space or business space, you definitely should have a written lease. A written lease. It's great. I know there's some people out here that will honor their word, but it's better to have it in writing. We talk about what? What I came here today is about record keeping, right? Okay. Both in writing, something written. It can be electronic, but make sure both parties can agree, because sometimes people, I remember one thing. We talked, right? I remember one thing, you remember something else. Okay, so we have a difference of what I remember versus what you remember, right? So, and when we have that difference, you go to the paper. You go to what's written down. I have seen the instance where someone was doing a trial, a test run in a commercial space, and they had no written lease. And it was a restaurant. So they want to try it out verbally. The restaurant took off. I mean, they were packed all the time. And they had an agreement verbally of what the lease would be for that, for the monthly. Guess what the landlord did? They raised the price. So they saw what was happening. They saw what was happening. And, you know, restaurants, you got a lot of stuff to do, right? You got equipment and furniture and inventory and all of that to buy. The person, they couldn't take the monthly rent that they went up to, which was like double what they agreed to verbally. So they had to move. So they had to break everything down. I don't know if they ever got set back up in another place, but don't let that be you. Don't let that be you. But if it is a trial period, put that down in writing. So okay, we're gonna run this for 2 months or 3 months or whatever it may be, and then if we decide to go forward, then it will be this. If we don't decide to go forward, then we just shake hands and we part ways, and that's it. So, yes.
When I worked in corporate America, they used to say, if it's not written down, it never happens. So.
Okay. Amen to that. You heard that? If it's not written down, it didn't happen. You assume that. Just assume, again, there are some honorable people, but don't rely on that. Don't rely on that. So, okay, so legal, talk about the licenses, talking about your permits. Hey, anybody have employees? No takers on employees. Okay. 2 folks got employees. Let's go ahead with the daycare. So a lot goes with having employees. There are a lot of requirements, a lot of things you have to do. You see what it says federal, state, and local. So you have all those various entities that you are beholden to. And you got Department of Taxation, you got the IRS, you got the BEC, you could have workers' comp. There are a lot of folks beholden to. You have to keep good records. Just about every entity there could audit you, could ask for explanation of what was submitted or what was not submitted. Anybody in food service, restaurant, okay, so sales tax, that could be an issue. You got to keep up with that. Okay, if you're supposed to keep like a record of your sales when you're in food service, because again, that is auditable. So you have to have records. So unfortunately, I have seen folks have padlocks put on their restaurants because they didn't pay sales tax, and the state and the city, they want the money. The state is real hard on that. So they will send people out. That's their job, to collect that. So again, those are some of the internal things that you have to consider, and the external. So the things that you do for you, and then the things you do for other folks that are requirements. Anybody in here RICO? Got one in here RICO. I'll tell you this. I'm telling you all some of this is real world stuff. We service several hundred clients per year, and you saw how long I've been doing it. So we had quite a few people and quite a few businesses and families and all that we've interacted with. So I've seen a few things. In Henrico, we had an office in Henrico some years back, and when we applied for a business license, I haven't seen Richmond do this, but I have seen Henrico. We applied for a business license, and guess who showed up less than 2 weeks later, unannounced? The fire marshal. Okay, the fire marshal council, well, what are you doing here? We're not doing anything hazardous, anything like that. But when you apply for a business license, at that time, the fire marshal gives a report too of all the new businesses and with office. So they want to do an inspection of our office. So I'm talking to the chief, and he got this guy going around the office. He's checking all the outlets. He's looking at our panel box. He's crawling under the desk. So he comes up. So I see him come back with an extension cord in his hand, and he like, this doesn't meet the load test. You got a water cooler over there plugged into this extension cord, and it doesn't meet the requirement. So guess what he does? He writes a citation, gives us 30 days for an extension cord. And we got computers, we got printers, we got all this stuff. But that's when he came over, so 30 days, okay. I went and got a $5 extension cord with more load on it and plugged it up. And he said, okay, we'll be back. And sure enough, they came back. He looked, was in the office maybe 30 seconds. So okay, that looks good. Checked it off, gave me a little slip, another song. He said, well, we'll be back around this time next year. They came back and looked again. So I'm saying all this to say, you got different folks that you have to be mindful of, and it's important. And guess what the fire marshal can do? He shut you down. Yeah, he shut you down. Put one of those stickers on your door and tell you it's against the law to go in your own office and all of that. So You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to do what you're there to do. If you're there for daycare, that's what you want to do. You don't want, you don't want the other drama, that these folks can bring. So, okay, I believe at that point enough. I think y'all got that, right? Okay. All right, business operations. This is primarily internal stuff that you would want to keep up with. Customer information, customer records, sales records, certain correspondence, some of the things I've alluded to as far as governmental requests, inventory. So, y'all think that's important? What does this, okay, so this is part of your business operations. What do you think keeping up with your customers, what kind of information about your customers might you want to track?
Their previous purchases.
You heard that, previous purchasing. So, and what would that do?
It gives you an idea of what to offer them next time, like what their spending dollars was.
Okay. Gives you an idea of their history with them, what the offer, what they like, what they dislike, and so you do want to be in tune as much as possible with your customers. Because unless you work for a government entity, where's your revenue going to come from? The customer. It's going to come from the customer. So you definitely want to be in tune with the customer and this thing called sales. So that's your revenue. So that's the fuel for business. Money, sales, revenue. So you need to be mindful of that. That allows you to plan. Plan ahead. How much, how much in expenses, how much in staffing can you do? So all of that. Anybody have to maintain inventory? Okay, inventory for the kids. What's your business again?
I didn't say it's very, I run a spa, I'm an esthetician, so I have like skincare products for retail as well as back bar.
Okay, all right. So you have to keep up with the skincare products and all of that. Okay, all right. So, again, you have to have a process. So, there may be a time in your business when it's a startup where you got eyeball stuff. You can look at the shelf and say, okay, yeah, I got enough, but no, I don't have enough. There will come a time as you grow and as you evolve, when you can't do that, when you shouldn't do that. Or if you have more than one location, it's going to be tough to do that. So, and you're not going to be as efficient as you should be. So you have to have, in all of this, you need a process. You gotta come up with a process. Okay. So, any other categories of record keeping? Okay, we talked about internal, we talked about external, we talked about various types of records that need to be kept up with. Anything else y'all can think of? Anything else that hits you? Anything that's specific to your business that might be important? So we covered them all.
Correspondence, like.
Correspondence?
Yeah, like an email and stuff like that.
Yeah, in today's world, that probably would be good thing. Keep it up. If you communicate with customers or other parties that are involved in your business, she said emails. So communication. Keeping over communication. Some people still do use faxing. So you still, believe it or not, we still have a fax machine in our office. and we still use them from time to time, you know. So it needs to be processed, keeping up with that and responding with when necessary. So all of that needs to be factored in. Okay, so as far as records, and there are various types of records, we touched on some. Okay, as far as record retention, do you think you need to keep everything in perpetuity forever? No, typically no. So these are in your, you all have in your participant information, these are general guidelines of keeping up with the records, various types of records. So one thing that's not on here, but I think it's in your participant, what might be missing up there? Okay, well, let's go through. These are years. Okay, so time, I think only 2 of you had employees, right? So time cards and personnel file, that doesn't apply to a lot of people yet. How many folks think at some point in the next year or 2 you might hire somebody? Okay. All right, good. So that's important to keep up with personnel, payroll information. Again, we talked about contracts. I gave you that example about the leases, but just about anything legal, any kind of agreement, you should have some copy, some tangible copy, either paper or electronic, that you can put your hand on. The inventory, we talked about payroll, insurance, retirement plans. Anybody have a retirement plan? Okay, you got one. You keep up with that. Auditor, we already talked about the auditor's report, especially an external audit. For internal audit, for external audit. But if it's a governmental audit, you definitely need to keep a copy of the report. To give you an example, everybody doesn't stay in place forever in agencies. Now I've seen where you deal with one person in an agency, then they retire or leave or go somewhere. Now it should change hands, right? Smoothly. And they should have good records, right? But I have seen where sometimes things get misplaced or somebody didn't hand something off right. And then either you're starting from scratch or you're starting at a worse position because you're starting with somebody different. So you definitely want to keep your own record. What else we might be missing from okay? Anything else that might be important? I'll throw one in. Tax returns. Okay. Any non-profits in here? Or everybody's for profit? You got one non-profit? Okay. Non-profits, do they do tax returns?
It depends on what you made, if you were still paying $9.90 or like this still exists, or
there's a non-profit tax return that's out there. That just do that and you go with one person. The tax returns, how long do you think you should keep the tax return? Three minimum. 3 years minimum, but it depends. It can keep giving you these vague answers, but it depends. Depends on what you're doing, depends on the complexity. If you go and buy you go and buy a commercial building, okay, there's quite a few things that go along with that as far as the tax return is concerned. Depreciation. If you're in the city of Richmond, they have various programs, depending on where you're located at. Where they got care zones, you got enterprise zones, you got hub zones, all of that. And they have benefits in various government programs. So a lot of times you have to produce documentation. And typically they give you some type of certificate. Again, you deal with people. Sometimes I have seen things where there are gaps. When things go from one person to another, where they change the program or something. So sometimes you have to prove that you're entitled to these benefits, or the length of time that you're entitled to these benefits. Like they have a program where you can get your real estate taxes abated or reduced if you open a business in a certain area of the city. But it requires some documentation. And sometimes it requires you to reiterate what you've already done. So you want to keep those types of records. So the tax record is minimum 3 years, but it depends. It could be longer. So that's the record keeping guideline. Okay, general record retention as far as the amount of time. We generate a lot of paper in our business, not as much as we used to. We go through probably 2 boxes of paper a year at least. So that's like 500 and maybe 10 years, about 10,000 sheets minimum. We used to do 4 or 5, but now a lot of what we do is electronic and digital, so it's not as much printing. So this is important because we have to purge periodically because we accumulate a lot of paper. So as far, okay, if you got, this is the front end of it, what you retain. But when you get rid of it, what do you do when you get rid of it? You say, okay, I've held it, I've met the retention requirements, and I got all this paper piled up. What you gonna do with that paper? Shred it. Shred it, right? Especially if anything close to confidential. This lady here with the daycare, she got kids' records and stuff. You think she should throw it out of her trash can right behind her? No, don't do it. Because she don't want to show up one day a TV crew is out there because her stuff is scattered in the street and somebody saw it. You know, so yeah, you want to shred it. We have a shredder about this high in the office, but they have shredding services. City of Richmond, pretty much all the surrounding counties, they have shredding events where you can take boxes, a couple boxes of documents, and they shred. They turn it to confetti. You know, so you don't want to handle things willy-nilly because you don't want that to be a problem for you if it just goes wrong. So I want to throw that out to you. Okay, again, tools for record keeping. Again, it does not have to be fancy. You don't have to go to the top of the mountain to start. So it can be paper. Nothing wrong with paper. Just about everybody here probably got a phone, right? And that phone can do a lot. But sometimes you do have to have paper for certain things. But you can use, file folders, pockets, old school filing cabinets, as far as physical. But whatever works for you and whatever level that you're at. So start wherever you are, but make sure this is a part of establishing what? A process. You gotta have a process. And typically it should be something that's repeatable. You almost naturally do it. If you have certain intake process, you say a certain form or something that your customer or client, when you're onboarding them, bringing them on board, that you do just automatically. So you want to have, storage cabinets, accordion folders. Y'all know what that is, right? That's where you folder with different slots in it. And for whatever reason. It could be chronological, it could be by category. So whatever works for you. So that's 1 and 2. A tickler system, that's like a reminder system. So you may have bills that are due that are important. The business license that we talked about. Typically, every year, you got to do a business license. Okay, so you may have a slot for December or January of every year. when you're going to fill out your business license application. So you have it in that slot. So every January, you go to that particular slot and you fill out whatever's in that slot, whatever's due, comes due. So whatever, so you can use the tickle system, license renewals, insurance, upcoming bills, callbacks. We talked about communicating with your clients and your customers. So, and okay, computers. Okay, so then let's go through that. I was talking and not flipping. Okay, accordion folders. These are the paper tools. This is the old school stuff. Okay. Tickler system. So we got that. I was talking and not flipping. Okay, this is what most of us probably would use now would be the computer system. So you can have internal computer systems, you can have external systems. So what I mean by internal, what do you think I mean by that? So you just have your computer and all the data is in-house. It's not going in. So we have some systems in our office where we handle confidential information. Everything is internal, it's hardwired. We won't do anything wired because we don't want anybody to be able to patch into our system. And so that's internal. And then you can have cloud systems. You can have systems that connect to the internet. So you connect them with somebody outside. Like this brother that does the ride sharing. So when you're riding around and they're telling you, okay, there's a ride over here on Broad Street. Okay, so you're connected to them and they're connected to you and to the customer. So you go pick them up. Okay, so it depends on your business. It depends on how much security you need, how secure the information needs to be. All that. So you have to, that's a part of when we talked about in the beginning, the evaluation. You have to evaluate your business, what you need, what the requirements are, and what's necessary. So, also, then you got the government, depending on what you do, if you're like a government contract, anybody in here government contractor? Doing the government work? Okay, if you ever do that, depending on what agency you're interacting with or you're contracting with, they have certain requirements as far as your computer systems, the level of security, and all of that. So you have to be mindful of your internal needs, the external needs, the operational needs of your business and what you're trying to do. So, has anybody ever had a computer that crashed or hard drive go bad? Is that pretty? That's a headache game. And that's kind of scary sometimes, ain't it? Because you wonder, can you get it back? Oh, what's going to happen? All of that. Okay. That last point, that addresses that. So, no matter how good your system is, you should have backup. And you should have some redundancy, meaning some way to retrieve that information outside that computer system. So sometimes you do have to go old school and have some paper. Maybe in the start, at least have the basic information about the client, that kind of thing. So if you do have to reconstruct something, you're not starting all the way from scratch. You haven't lost everything. Because all these systems is made by people. So typically it will fail. Not all the time, but it's a possibility that it will fail. So you should have some backup. When you have a computer system, there are tools that will back up automatically. You can have it back up when you're not at work, it can back up in the middle of the night. You can set certain times for it to back up when you're down. So, but you do need to have some type of backup for if you're using, basically any system. I would suggest you add some kind of redundancy. Because if something could happen where the records or the computer is. So this is why, that's the reason for that. That helps with that, the cloud computing. And we on board with, what the cloud is, right? So when your system is hooked up to like the internet, and basically your data is going somewhere else. So it can also, this can be your storage, it could be the operation, and also it could be storage as well. So this could be off-site storage, because it's recommended, especially if you're dealing with some confidential type information, or very important information to your clients or to your business, that you have information somewhere else, off-site, on-site, and off-site. Just in case. Things happen. So that's why it says is internet versus your own personal computer. So your personal computer or laptop or phone, some people I've seen, they do a lot with their phone. So if you're doing that, the phones, anybody here do operate most of their business out of their phone? Okay. So you lose your phone, is there some backup? Is there some way to retrieve?
Yeah, so I have a cloud, and then some days I print out.
Okay, so you had it back up and redundant. Okay, all right. See, I heard that right. So he's operating a lot of his business out of his phone, but he does have a backup. So definitely you want a backup. You want a backup. Some kind of. Okay. So this is another. So this is accounting types of software. This is one of the tools that's available. Accounting. Ms. Johnson said I'm an expert in it. I got a little bit of accounting skills, but I can navigate a financial statement pretty good. But this is important for most businesses. Accounting is the language of business. So have you guys had the accountant to come in here yet? And y'all go over bookkeeping and all that, and financial statements and ratios and stuff? You haven't done that yet? Okay, all right. Well, I'm not going to step on anybody's toes. I'm going to keep on doing what I'm supposed to do. But accounting is important. It's the language of business. It's how you record with the transactions, income, expenses, assets, liabilities of what's going on in your business for you, as well as external folks. You're going to get a line of credit. You guys in business, okay? You're rolling along, but you don't have all the money that you need to do whatever you're trying to do. So you need a line of credit from some bank in town. And I think you guys, if you haven't had them already, I think y'all, in the list I saw, y'all gonna have some bankers that come. So you're gonna have to show them financials, you're gonna have to show them some profit and loss statement, personal financial statement, maybe a cash flow projection. So you have to show them what you've done, what you plan to do, what you think you're gonna do down the line. Sometimes they may ask you for a year, they may ask you 2 years, they may ask 3 years. I want to see, cash flow. What you think you're going to do for 3 years? So you got to show them something. Sometimes it's reasonable. Sometimes they'll question you at times. They'll say, well, why do you think you can do this? What makes you think? And you have to explain. But accounting is the language of business, pretty much at any level. So as far as Anybody use any accounting software? 3 hands. Which you use? Excel. Okay. All right. Spreadsheet software. QuickBooks. Wave. Okay. All right. There are quite a few out there. The most commonly used small business software is QuickBooks. And you got QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online. Online. Okay. Online is what we talked about in the previous slide, which is cloud computing. So you can get to it from anywhere. You can be anywhere, go in and out of it. You can do a lot, and so the thing with the online and Waves is a cloud-based program as well, and Excel can be. So you don't need to buy software upgrades. In the good old days, I had to get this every year and update. You don't have to do that when you do cloud-based software. Okay, it'll update automatically. When we talked about the computer crashes earlier, it avoids that because your data is out there, and they're backing it up and they're saving it. And like I said, you can access it, and you can access from anywhere. So this is an advantage. So again, you do need a system, you do need a process, you need some kind of accounting system. So you need a documentable system of tracking your revenue and expenses. Okay, a basic accounting concept. Should you have a 1 or 2 bank accounts? One, two. If you're in business, how many bank accounts minimum you need? 2. Okay, great. Should not have 1. That means if you have 1, you're co-mingling. You're co-mingling with personal and business expenses. You should not do that. The question you had about auditor, you make an auditor happy. It's an external government auditor. One of the first questions they're going to ask you is, let me see your bank statement. Okay. Typically, at least a year. Most recent from here to here for a year. If you say, you give them one set of bank statements, and they say, okay, where's the other? You say, well, this is it. Okay. They want to smile. This is going to be easy. Because what they can do is most of your transactions now are personal. They're not business. So all they have to do is recharacterize the transactions, make everything personal. Whatever you wrote off, they said, no, it's not business, it's personal. So you can't write it off no more. So basic accounting is you need separation. You need to have separation from your business from personal. And you try to, as much as possible, maintain that. So don't try not to transfer too much. Now in the early days, you all are the business owners. I heard some of you say that you're in the startup phase. Some of you all are in the decision-making phase, right? Y'all trying to figure it out. You're trying to understand what you should do, whether you should do this or not, that kind of thing. But bare minimum, when you do make the leap, one of the first things you should do is establish a business bank account with your business name on it. And in the early days, you may be the funder of the business. So the money is going to come from you to buy the initial furniture and equipment and all of that. You can document that. You can show that this was the owner's contribution, owner's investment. That's part of the account. Okay, so there's a category for that. So you do that. But definitely, minimum, you need to have that separation. So, don't co-mingle. And if you do, it should be noted why it's being done, and you should document as much as great as possible, as much as possible. Okay, these are some of the benefits of the cloud computing. You know, you can share it, again, you can get at it from anywhere. You can share information with other people, cloud clients, large files. Sometimes you have files that are too large to do certain things with, but most of these cloud services, they can handle pretty much any size file. Okay, we talked about the crashes. There are some free options. There was mention of, and there are different levels of, particularly, well, pretty much all software, but the accounting software, there are different levels. Like QuickBooks has a basic level. They have certain industry level software, like they have a software for construction. They have some for retail. If you need a point of sale system, they got a system for that. So if you have a cash register or you need point of sale or tracking sales tax, it can do that. So you get, so if you're at the basic level, you may be able to get one of the free versions. Try that out, and the basic QuickBooks software will work on your phone. It's phone-based, and it'll also track mileage, so it'll do a couple things for you. Okay, we already talked about when you, before you get the software, when you jump out there, whatever record-keeping system you establish, you need to evaluate what your needs, goals, and objectives are. What's right for your business, what's right for your industry, what's right internally, externally, where's the fit, where the benefits at. And again, there's different, brother, he mentioned he's using Excel, which is a spreadsheet program, and you can do various things with that. There are email software, accounting software. There's another one that we're throwing here, which is the CRM, which is customer relationship management software. What that does, you can put customer information in the software, and it keeps up with birthdays. If you want to send all your customers a birthday in August, you can pull everybody's birthday in August and send them a birthday if you want to. You can send them mail, regular mail, email. You can track with their voice, how much they bought, what their likes and preferences are. So that's another tool, another record-keeping tool that could help you in your business. That's a CRM system. Well, you got QuickBooks, you mentioned Wave, you got Sage. So there's a wide range of accounting software that are out there that are geared to small business. So you have options. QuickBooks is the most commonly used software. Okay, we talked about the use with tracking, evaluating business needs, and what you can utilize those tools for our software. Okay, we coming down the home stretch. Okay, we already talked about that. We talked about the accounting and why it is so necessary, and why internally and externally, why you need an accounting system. So is everybody, you doing your own accounting?
I just this year started using a professional, and she helped me out with QuickBooks.
Okay, heard that.
I was doing it by myself.
Okay, she started this year using a external approach to help her with the QuickBooks, and again, no system is any good if you don't use it. So you got to utilize it. It can tell you a lot if you have a good accounting system. So it can tell you if you're doing well, if you're not doing well. If you had various categories of revenue, say you had 5 to 10 different categories of revenue. If you have a good accounting system, it can tell you where your revenue is coming from specifically, in detail. So instead of you looking at the broad range, yeah, you can see the big numbers, but you might want to see the detail. So you may want to know whatever their product is, the aesthetic. Is that what you said? That's how you said it. Aesthetic. What, skincare?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So you can make me look better. Okay. All right. Okay, I keep that in mind. So she needs to know which product you're selling, which one, so you need to know where to place the emphasis at. So accounting is very important, especially intern. Okay. Most of you all are getting started with the accounting system. That's what am I right to assume that? Or setting up an accounting system, say yeah, okay, all right. So there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, there are a lot of tools out there. So we don't need to answer. So most of y'all need to start in a formal accounting system or process, just put it like that. Okay. Again, accounting, financial, operating a business, that's a specific skill in particular. So how do you get up to speed with it? All right, there are a lot of resources available. There's training available. That's why you guys are in this class, right? So you want to improve yourself, improve your capability, and sometimes be exposed, so that you know what to bone up on, you get better at it. So you have the Richmond Office of Minority Development. They're a great resource. You got various economic development organizations on various levels. You got the local, the state, they have it. Then you got the federal, which is the S.B.A., which is that's the SCORE program. They have folks that've been in business for a while. They provide counseling. It's free. SCORE also, they have a lot of good templates. Meaning they got, like, if you haven't seen a profit and loss statement, well, you need to put one together. You go into the bank, okay, and they send you a list. They say, okay, when you come into this meeting, I want to see this, this, and this. And you look on that list and you see profit and loss, and you see balance sheet, you cap. You go to the SCORE site, they got templates there. And you can plug in, you can actually see a sample of a P&L, profit and loss statements. I mean, they throw jargon in. Profit and loss statements, the financial statements, and all that. So the variant ratios, So they have a lot of good tools. The Women's Business Center, they have one at Virginia Union University. I'm not sure if it's still there. It's still there? Okay, all right, still there. So you got a lot of resources. That's my point. Anybody a veteran? Military veteran. Okay, all right. They have that. Okay, that doesn't apply. Community colleges. So, and you got folks like the accountants, consultants, and to help you with it. So my point is, don't let fear stop you that you don't know, so you don't do anything. So utilize your resources, utilize the tools and the people that are available to you. So, okay, when you want to start, if you don't have a record-keeping system, when do you want to start it? Right. Now, start now or as soon as possible. And hopefully that's now, if you don't have anything. So this is a start here today. So you have some some tools, some ideals of what you need to do, or what some tools that are available to you, some resources. So you should put something together. Okay. I know we covered a lot of ground. I don't know if y'all know it or not. We covered quite a few bases. Any questions, concerns, anything else hit y'all? All right, so I guess we did a pretty good job then.